it's obviously exciting news to be coaching your state in an Origin game. What does it mean to you?
Oh, it's a huge honour. I think I grew up watching State of Origin footy. I wished one day I got the chance to play for WA. That didn't eventuate, with the last State of Origin game being 99, and then just really excited when Andrew called and the opportunity presented itself. It was something I couldn't knock back.
First year as a head coach this year,
Yep.
going on to take an opportunity like this, was there a thought about how no one wanted to focus on the Swans, but as you said, was it just the opportunity was too good to say no to?
Yeah, I think the first thing I thought about was the passion I have for WA, and being a proud West Australian, that come to mind first, and then from there is about what about the football club, that I'm currently coaching, and to make sure that I can get us as prepared as we possibly can. The timing of the game is in a real favourable spot of our program, so that's one thing I spoke to the football club about, and the footy club are fully supportive of me doing this as well.
When did you get the call, and did you suspect it was coming?
No, not at all. So the concept obviously got brought up, and a couple of weeks ago I got a phone call from Andrew asking would I be open to it. I spoke to the footy club from there, and they were happy, and I wanted to do it. So really excited about the proposition.
Have you had a look at the team and the players you can put together?
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about this concept is there's so many great WA players spread out across the country. And you look at, obviously we've got some at our football club. Chad's already texted saying he'd love to be a part of it, so we'll just see how his summer goes. He's got to perform and actually get to the level. But I think on top of that, you've got Patrick Cripps is probably the one that springs to mind really quickly, really passionate West Australian. Has been an unbelievable servant of this game, as well as players that are at Fremantle and West Coast, but Aaron Norton and Darcy Cameron and Sam Taylor and Jesse Hogan. So there's some damaging players that are that are at the top of their game that I'm really looking forward to being a part of this team.
As a senior coach, you're probably best equipped to answer this. Are you happy with where Origin sits in the schedule? Are we not ready for it to be middle of the season where injuries are more likely, fatigue is more of an issue? Are you happy with how it is right now, or would you like to see it change?
I'm happy with the concept and the timing of it currently. I think the hard part about it, if it's during the year, one bye in an extra game for a gather round as well, it's a long season. So the ability for teams to be able to, if you put a second bye in, I did that in 2008 in the Dream Team game I was fortunate enough to play in. There were 2 byes in that year, so one of them we were made available to be able to do that. So, the timing, that'll always be up in the air, but I just think it's great to have the concept back. The players will get right behind it, and hopefully the WA crowd, which no doubt they'll get behind it as well.
Have you heard from any of those other boys, Cripper, Jesse, or do they not have your number?
I'll be getting their number. But no, I think it's more do this, and then now there's a chance. There's still a long window of their off-season. Part of it is to allow them to enjoy that time. They deserve the break, and then it's to get in contact with them throughout this period and go, okay, would you like to be a part of it? Speak to the club, and then work their way through the process of that.
You've seen this year how hard some of those pre-season injuries can be. Obviously, Errol had the big one in that
Yep.
pre-season game. What is that balance like as a coach, knowing that these players are really going to want to play for their state, just like you want to coach for the state, but balancing, okay, making all available, is that something that you're pretty passionate about? If players are fit and they want to be available, that you're happy to let them go?
Yeah, I am. That's one thing, representative footy, you don't get in AFL that often. And to be able to do this, I think it'll be a discussion between us wanting them to be a part of the team, and then for them and the football clubs that they play for to come up with a decision, are they available? And if they're available, I'll have them. I'd love to have as many of the top-tiered players as I possibly can get into this team.
Dean, there's like 30-year-old footy fans out there that have never seen this match apart from the
Yep.
highlights. So
Yep.
in terms of the buy-in from whether there's fans on the eastern side or the western side of the country, what do you say to them about why this means so much to the game?
I think, first of all, it's about acknowledging the legacy of what did happen back in the day when we were certainly younger. I think the passion that goes into these games, I remember watching them, that was probably the biggest thing that stood out for me. And from then it's about me re-engaging some of those past greats, to make sure that they're involved in the program, how they do it, what they did, what they experienced, why they loved it so much. I think the youth of today need to hear that.
Do you look across, just up the road, NRL HQ, like State of Origin's the jewel in rugby league's crown? Do you look into that and maybe buy into how they get the best out of their players in the state rivalry?
I think it's probably a call I might make about, some coaches that have been over here that we've sort of made contact with throughout the period about it is one of the pinnacles of their season. We want it to hopefully eventually be like that again for the AFL, understanding that the season is a long year and the clubs do come first, but to give players an opportunity to be able to do it. I see the excitement that happens around New South Wales throughout those State of Origin games, and hopefully this one can be the same.
Do you think you'll get the balance right between being passionate and playing as hard as you possibly can for your state, but also it being pre-season and not wanting injuries? That's going to be a bit of a juggling act, isn't it?
Yeah, I think whenever you have different games away from your football club, once the ball's bounced, the players will really dive in the best way they possibly can. And, you see it in any other sporting code. Once you do that and watch the State of Origin, they go as hard as anything. So it's a matter of where the player's at. Are they available to do what they need to do? Restricted minutes, there's a lot to work through. But I think once they do pull on the jumper that's required, they'll go all out to perform the best way they possibly can.
Dean, it's been a big couple of weeks for both yourself and the club. I mean,
Yeah.
firstly landing Charlie Curnow, it was stressful, went down to the wire, down to that deadline. But how excited are you that he'll be pulling on the red and white next year?
Yeah, really excited. I think, it's something that we've been chasing for a while, to be able to get a calibre of Charlie wanting to come to the football club. I think from there, our due diligence and the ability to be able to get that deal done was, really strong for the football club. Unfortunately, you're in a period now where we had contracted players, and to get in a quality player, unfortunately, you have to lose some quality players and people of your football club. So, it was a tough couple of weeks.
How were those discussions with Will and Ollie? I imagine that wouldn't have been easy, especially sort of not one you expected, having spoken throughout the year about them being contract and required, but once it became evident that that was what it would take to get Charlie over the line, what was the key to making those conversations happen?
They were tough. I think, I won't shy away from that they were very tough to do. I think the service that they've given the football club, the thing we did throughout the whole process was be as open, as honest as we possibly could. And things happen really quickly in trade period. There's so many hypotheticals that go around. Could you get this done? What if this happened? So you've just got to be ready for it and move with it. And we tried to move as quickly as we possibly could. And it is tough on players and people involved at the football club because, both Ollie and Will, 184 games each, have been amazing servants of this football club. So, we wish them the best at Carlton for the rest of their careers. But as a footy club, we need to make sure that we continually get better. And we thought Charlie was a real strong person to be able to do that.
Charlie spoke about his heart rate in the closing stages. How was yours?
Yeah, it was high. And probably not being there in the room made it a little bit tough. We were sort of on the phone throughout the last probably half an hour through that process. And it's always the big deal's always going to come down right to the wire. So in the end, it was, obviously bittersweet, great to get Charlie, but also losing a couple of people along the way as well.
How hard were the discussions with the wider playing group who are extremely close with Will and Ollie?
Yeah, they're always tough. I think one thing that, we always said, I said when I got to the football club, is I'll always put the club first. And that's something they'll always continue to do. We need to improve in certain areas of our game, and ahead of the ball is one of those. So that was the option. The players, and a lot of players are really close with those two boys, and so they should be because they're great people. They were tough, and people will adjust at certain time frames, and we'll support them all the way through it. But overall, they understand the nature of why we're doing it.
How ready are you for a premiership tilt now that you have Charlie Curnow?
I think, we just need to add, as we were saying throughout the year, add as much talent as we possibly can to the list, and in areas that we need it. So not only Charlie, we've sort of done it with Malcolm, some real speed ahead of the ball, and obviously Jai behind the ball to really, had a fantastic season, even though he's played a lot of it at VFL. So, we targeted 3 players and got the 3 players we wanted.
Are you
sorry, given his standing in the game, like as soon as you landed his signature, as compared to Plugger and Buddy and Barry, what impact do you expect Charlie to have on this club? Because the expectations are naturally high given what he's done.
Yeah, and so they should be high. I think we need to make sure that we can get Charlie fit and available and ready for the season. That's our first job that we have to do. We have to gel the group as quickly as we possibly can ahead of the ball, and the cohesion that's required to work to kick some decent scores. And on top of that, the players are really excited about the prospects. So we understand the magnitude of a key forward and what has happened in the past. We've had some pretty big names after Lancey and Isaac and Errol and Chad and Lizard and the like. So hopefully we can just get them all playing the way we want them to.
Obviously, Charlie's had a few injuries, especially this year. Are you confident he'll be right to go for opening round next year?
Yeah. At this stage, I hope so. We, he's spent some time at the football club, obviously going through his body and to make sure that we understand what he has done, what he will do. So the programs will change now from the Carlton one to our program for the remainder of this off season, and looking forward to him getting back as quickly as we can at the start of November and working his way through that program to hopefully be fit for the start of the season.
And I guess, are you confident that this list is in a better spot than it was 12 months ago when you kind of first took over, and on the back of some of the list changes that you've been able to kind of oversee now as well?
I think you always have to try and develop. You have to try and move your list in the way you need to, and this is the way we wanted to try and do it. Really excited about what next year entails for us, but there's a lot of work to be done before the season starts, and we're going to make sure that our players are fit and ready.
Is there a chance that Logan McDonald will be trialled down back? That's been a talking point now that Charlie's come in.
Yeah, we're sort of going to look through that over the next. We've got a new coaching group. We want to sort of get some ideas of the coaches that have been at other clubs as well. So I've got my thoughts on what will happen, but also having 23 and no sub adds a flexibility as well. So I think what Logan's been able to do, we saw 2 years ago, to kick 40 goals and to have a real presence in the forward line. How we balance that will be whether he starts there and then does a bit of stuff behind the ball, or whether he plays up the ground a bit higher as well. So we'll look through everything over this summer.
Dane Rampy and Jake Lloyd, we haven't seen those official confirmations, but is all plans that they'll be here at the club next year, just waiting to see sort of list positions and where they'll sit?
Yeah, they'll be here. So excited about those two. So, that'll come out in due course, but expect them to be wearing the red and white next year.